Welcome once again to another edition of Shelton City Council Looking Ahead with City Manager Mark Ziegler. And Mark, coming up Tuesday night, it's a business meeting. Not as extensive as you have had your business meetings, but there are a couple of pretty important items on here. Project closeouts is basically the theme of the meeting. I want to start with the Street Landfill
All right.
and
Yeah.
how that's been a long process. And I was looking over the packet and just all the agencies, all the companies, everybody who's been involved. How extensive of a project has this been?
Really extensive. When you're talking about a solid waste landfill that was opened up, back in the 40s or 50s, when there was very little regulation at that time for landfills, and having to come back in modern day times to close that out, it's extensive. So you certainly have Department of Ecology that manages solid waste disposal. You have Department of Health involved in this, and then you have private property owners with miles sand and gravel next door as well. So it's it's been a long process. There's a lot of investigation that goes into this, many years, certainly before my role here as city manager, and really trying to discover what the extent of the limits of the landfill were, because it's been covered up over the years, right? So there's common landfill practices here in the past, how you either dig a hole, there's already a hole in the ground, and you dump your garbage in it, and throw some dirt over the top and kind of leave it. And so we have to go find where that garbage is. Some of it was, 40 feet deep. So that investigation took place. A remediation plan was developed and approved by Department of Ecology. We contracted with Brunfield Construction to come in and remove the garbage from essentially one location to another, tap that with a layer of material and dirt that is a little less permeable than just topsoil or soil or gravels. Kind of consolidate that, if you will, put a cap on it, and then grass seed, and it's fenced off. And so that property will be monitored over time. There's monitoring wells to ensure that nothing's being kind of seeping into other areas, and the groundwater kind of goes off at the top of the garbage area into the rest of the property. So fairly simple but an extensive project. When you're getting this garbage that's been 30, 40, 50 years before you have 40 feet at the time. Not as easy to carry out as it might seem.
So are there plans for this property now, or is it just going to remain vacant?
The landfill portion would remain vacant. There is some kind of auxiliary portions of that property that could be used to be redeveloped for other purposes. There's no plan at this point. So that would be something that certainly would be examined later. There's no utilities on that side of Highway 101 at this point. So we have to run utilities over there and recycle over the C-Suite overpass, which accesses that property, and that's certainly will have a price tag to it. The total price tag for that project, by the way, was about $3.5 million. Pretty extensive. We received over $2.8 million in grant funding from the State Department of Ecology, so that certainly helped offset the cost. The city really would not be able to bear the entire cost of that project on our own. We had some remaining funds that were left over for this purpose from the solid waste fund. We conducted solid waste programs. So that's where the direct funding source internally from the city to complete this project. And we'll have some ongoing talks for the monitoring what's required. Certainly that's another 5-year commitment, depending on what comes from that monitoring process. So it could be extended.
Okay, the other project on here for final acceptance is the Western Gateway project. It looks great, by the way. That was a pretty neat project in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. These are the two big projects, right? Actually, we started in 22, we finished up in 23. So that's from the city limits out by Pacific Port on the west side of Shelton on Railroad Avenue, up to 8th Street. Brand new 12-inch water line, replacing a very old water line that had potential for some catastrophic failure, I should say. It's those old water lines, they just don't have a lifespan for them. So dug that up, replaced the water line. We have new stormwater improvements, a new asphalt street, and then obviously a sidewalk on the north side. But we do not have a specific needs previously, so we have pedestrian facilities and a Mason Transit bus stop out there too. So we're quite happy with the project. The landscaping starting to come in a little bit. Now that was a $3.3 million project, so just another sign of what it cost to perform some of these projects. We were lucky enough to have almost $1 million in grant funding from the state, and then we dedicated over $1 million of project funds to get total relief funds to this project as well. We could spend those on the infrastructure project, so particularly the water and replacement, the water and replacement were priorities for the project. Again, probably a project that the city could not perform out of our existing funds. That we're lucky to have the same outside funding to be able to use and have a better project and really enhance our gateway from the west and
Since we're talking money, I want to let everybody know that well, budget's coming up for 2024. Although you've been working on it continually, what do you want to let people know about? What to worry about, or not worry about, or what are your challenges going into 2024?
Absolutely, yeah. It's really the budget's a living document. If you will, we adopt it by the end of the year for the following year, but it's really a living document we address throughout the year. We obviously address that mid-year after I took this role and trued up what our general fund looked like compared to anticipated revenues. We reduced 6 FTEs within the city to help true that up. We reduced services, our customer service counter, and we've gotten ourselves in a better position to look forward to 24 and beyond. So we are putting together a final 2024 budget for the council to consider in November. So I believe it's November 7th and November 21st when the council will consider the 2024 budget. That basically just starts that continual process of monitoring and managing the 24 budget. We still are cognizant of the city's revenue stream, which are property taxes, funeral taxes, and sales taxes, primary funders of our general fund. So we're cognizant of that. We need to stay on top of that and monitor that on a regular basis and make sure our expenditures staying in with the revenue that we receive. So that's kind of the marching orders that the entire city has as far as managing the budgets, and we're going to do the best we can to continue to maintain that balanced budget and our core services in the community. So that's kind of a broad scope 30,000 foot view right now. We'll have the opportunity to talk about that a little more. I think as we adopt the budget and talk about some of the programs we're able to fund and not able to fund, and some of the services that we may see change with the building.
Okay, and that's coming up in a couple months, or the next month or so. Yeah. But Tuesday night, October 3rd, 6 o'clock in the courtroom at the Civic Center, your regular meeting. Always want people to attend and contribute. You can do so in person, get on the Zoom link, or you can just sit back and watch it on the city's YouTube channel. Thanks, Mark. Yeah.